morning. It's Ben Heslop from the BIPC in Cumbria here, and this morning we're joined by Delith Edwards, who is from the British Business Bank. Thank you for joining us this morning, Delith.
Thank you, Ben.
We are going to talk about finance, which is a question that we get asked a lot about. And after speaking with Delith, she felt that this particular section that she's going to talk about today would be pertinent to new or just pre or post startup businesses who may be looking at that first level of taking funding on. So I'm going to, without further ado, if you'd like to share your screen, Delith, we will go through your presentation and we can hopefully learn together about what the offers are.
Excellent. I hope you can see my slides there, Ben. Excellent. Thank you very much. So thanks for the introduction, Ben. And like you said, yes, I am from the British Business Bank. So my role is the senior manager within the UK network. So I represent the British Business Bank in the Northwest, and clearly that includes Cumbria. So I'm going to talk about access to finance this morning and how that can actually help startups and small businesses in the area. Okay, so just quickly, a little bit of background on the British Business Bank and its purpose and why we're here. So we are an economic development bank, so that means we're owned by government but independently managed. And we're very much here to make the small business finance market work better for businesses that are looking for funding and finance to help them start up and grow. So one of our main objectives is reducing regional imbalances in access to finance. So what that actually means is we want to actually narrow that gap between London and the rest of the UK and actually bring more investment and bring more finance into the UK regions, targeting those smaller businesses that need it the most. You'll see from the figures here, you know, how much money we've deployed outside of London, you know, in 2021 and 2022. And then 83,000 non-London businesses have been supported by the bank's core finance programme. So that gives you an idea of, you know, how much effort we're putting into addressing these regional imbalances and supporting businesses in the UK regions. So more specifically, I'm going to talk about a couple of programmes that we've got available that I think are really relevant for Cumbrian businesses. And the first one is the Startup Loan Scheme. So what is the Startup Loan Scheme? So just to be clear, this is a programme that is backed and managed by the British Business Bank, but we appoint delivery partners throughout the UK to manage this on our behalf. This programme is actually available to individuals that want to start a business that are less than 3 years old. They can lend anything from £500 to £25,000 per director or founder. So that's actually up to 4 people. So in essence, that could be 100,000 max per business. There's fixed interest rate, so it's a 6% interest rate that, you know, in this climate, that's pretty good. It hasn't gone up, no plans to go up at the moment. And it can be paid back between 1 and 5 years. The great thing about this scheme is it's not just about the money. There's actually a lot of support available for businesses. So if you're successful and you're able to access this loan, then you get 4 hours of mentoring, access to exclusive webinars, and also 24/7 access to an online platform that will support you in that first year. It's also worth noting that this scheme's been going now for just over 10 years, and we've actually deployed more than 100,000 loans across the UK. So it is a really popular scheme. And in terms of checking your eligibility, it's fairly straightforward. You can go on the Startup Loans website, so it's startuploans.co.uk. It's really user friendly. And there's like a really short tick box form there that you can literally just tick that and send that through, and that will check your basic eligibility before you actually go through a process. So mainly what we're looking for is credit history. That has to be checked, and that's done externally. We look at kind of personal affordability, and then business plan and cash flow forecast. So looking at the business more specifically, what's the business trying to achieve? What does it want to spend the money on? And so on. So as I said, it's more than just money, the startup loan scheme. The real value, is in the support that you can receive. So there's an example here, you can access this through the website, in terms of social media, marketing support, essential guide to starting a business, guide to business resilience, PR. It's all there. There are templates and there are guides on the website to help you as well. So, it's a really, really valuable program in that respect. And then just to let you know as well that we've actually partnered with the Open University on this scheme. So there is some training and webinar support available as well, as part of that kind of partnership that we have with them. So and lastly, on the startup loan scheme, I'm just going to feature a case study from a Cumbrian business. So this is Vi's Jamaican rum cakes. And this was a founder called Elaine Remy, based in Kendal, that applied for a startup loan, to start up a business back in January 2020, before the pandemic. And what this enabled her to do, enabled her to actually set up a website. She could do her marketing and actually ramp up cake production. Quite often, this is what these loans enable businesses to do. It can either enable them to start up in the first place or grow within that sort of first 3 years. It also allowed her to establish partnership with rum companies and create a subscription service. And again, what she's saying is that the loan and the support, gave her the confidence to start a business. So again, it's not just about the money, but it's about actually, making businesses have that confidence, have that get up and go, and have that drive to say, no, actually, I can do this, and make that decision and go ahead with starting their business. Okay, so that's the startup loan scheme. As I said, there's a wealth of information on the website. So if you want to know more, please visit startuploans.co.uk. It's very user-friendly, very easy to find the information that you're looking for. So next, I'm just going to talk about our regional fund programme, the Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund. So you may well have heard of this. It's been in operation now since middle of 2017, so 6 years. So the Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund is very much about providing a dedicated regional fund that addresses that gap in regional growth finance and provides, I guess, a solution and an avenue for small businesses that have got the ambition to grow, to apply for debt finance or equity finance. So you'll see from that map, that it covers most of the north of England, and so Cumbria is very much included in there. It's supported by the 10 local enterprise partnerships across the north. So that includes the Cumbria local enterprise partnership, which is headquartered up in Penrith. So we work with them closely on the deployment of this programme in the Cumbria region. So in terms of what it is and what it can do for businesses, I mean, this slide is fairly self-explanatory, but the loans start from £25,000. So we call that kind of microfinance. So in some ways, this is quite a nice follow-on from the startup loan scheme. So that tends to go up to 25,000 in most cases. So the small loans start at 25,000 and they go up to £100,000. So the delivery partner in Cumbria on this particular part of the scheme is GC Business Finance, who are based in Manchester, but they have a loans manager that covers Cumbria and is available, to talk and deal with businesses in Cumbria and help them with their application. So the debt finance is obviously then a little bit more money again. So if you're looking for more than £100,000 up to £750,000, then you'd be looking for a larger loan, and that is managed through FW Capital. Again, they're a northwest-based operation, but they have loan managers all across the region, and an individual that will be dealing with businesses in Cumbria should they be interested in inquiring or applying for a loan. And then in terms of the equity finance, obviously that's if you're looking, usually this is for businesses who are innovative, they are not in profit, they might have limited revenue or pre-revenue, and therefore debt isn't really an option. So this is more about supporting maybe innovative businesses that have new products and services, and require an equity fund manager to take a share in their business, and that'll obviously be realised at a later date. So, you know, the equity finance programme is actually from £50,000 up to £2 million, and that is managed by Maven Capital Partners, who are based in Manchester, but again, they have investment managers across the region, and they have a couple of dedicated contacts that cover the Cumbrian region as well. So that's kind of how the funds are sort of distributed, how they're broken down. So that's that small loans, slightly larger loans, and then the equity finance, very much for businesses who are looking, you know, to grow. You know, so it may be that you're looking to grow your headcount, it may be you're looking to grow premises, or your product lines, or want to grow the business internationally. Hopefully there's something here for you. So again, I've got a case study here from a Cumbrian business based in Carlisle that successfully applied for a £75,000 loan. This is quite a unique business that started off actually selling Lego flowers for weddings. But actually this evolved and expanded into an online retail store for Lego products. So quite often these kind of individual sort of limited edition or, you know, sort of discontinued that people or collectors were looking to find. So what this loan enabled them to do, it gave them the working capital that they needed to make sure that they could offer a full kind of, you know, product line and the range of Lego across the UK. And it also allowed them to expand in terms of taking on new staff and move into new premises so they could actually hold more stock and offer more to their customer base. So the good news is this fund, that Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund that I just mentioned, will be in place until the end of 2023, so till the end of December 2023. And there will be a new fund that will replace that in the north of England that will come online at the beginning of 2024. So at the moment, we know that there's £660 million to cover the northern region. And obviously some of that will come into the northwest. A reasonable proportion of that will come into the northwest and also be available for Cumbrian businesses as well. So it's very much watch this space in this area. So although the existing fund is coming to an end, Northern Powerhouse Investment Fund 2 will be available from early 2024 for businesses that are interested in exploring that as an option. Okay, so I just wanted to close this off by also mentioning the fact that we've got the Finance Hub as a really rich resource of information and guidance on the British Business Bank's website. So quite often what you'll find on here is specific guides about different types of finance. So if you want to read more, understand more about debt finance, what does it mean for me as a business? You know, what types of debt finance can I access? Or if you're interested in more the equity side of finance, what is an angel investor? What does equity finance mean? Or that you're looking for specific guides around, you know, business resilience or cash flow or business planning. You know, this information you can find on our Finance Hub. Obviously, before and earlier on in the presentation, I did mention the startup loan scheme as well. And there's a myriad of information on that website. So between the two, I'm sure you'll certainly find what you're looking for. So just make a note of that, the Finance Hub on the British Business Bank's website, and then specifically the startup loan scheme as well, especially if you're looking for information and guidance on different types of finance and sort of templates and information that you can use. So that draws my presentation to an end. Hopefully that's given you some, you know, interesting information and pointers about where the British Business Bank and its delivery partners can potentially help you as a business. So thank you very much for listening. And if Ben's got any questions for me, then I'd happily answer those.
Brilliant, Dalit. If you could just leave that on so people could get a chance to get those addresses, as it's not a live presentation today. Thank you for that. That was really useful for me to hear as someone who's often at the front end of people asking about what can you help, because we find that regardless of size of business, whether they've started, haven't started, in their year 2, year 4, inevitably the question is about money. And it's no fault of any business that the question is about money. Cash flow, expansion, taking on new staff, starting as one thing and then becoming another thing is such a positive part of business. But it all takes ready money, and often that money will come with that development, not before that development, especially in today's age. So we always kind of, some people come in expecting free money, and we kind of politely say that there is no free money anymore. You know, like there's a few grants here and there, but everyone's got this impression that debt is bad, finance is bad. And I started in my business life, I remember all I wanted to do was pay my small debt off that I'd started the business with, and then everything will be okay. And then I spoke to a few mentors, and they sort of said debt is healthy if it's controlled, and if without that debt, you're probably going to stall your business massively. And it kind of really changed my look on it. So it's now about educating people on what debt is good debt and where to get that kind of debt from. And this seems like a great package. What I love most about it, I've just made some notes on the way there, was the 2 examples you gave being Cumbrian businesses and at very different stages, and how that helped. There was Vi with she had that idea, but she needed to get going, and again that takes £5,000 easy in business. Sometimes look at small finance, but you know, if you haven't got £5,000 and you haven't got it started, that's huge, you know. So to take that jump, so it was great to see that that's a Cumbrian business which has made that leap on the back of taking on some of these loans. But then also the flower Lego flower company, how they started as one thing and then we're using a lot more money, but for that expansion, that crucial expansion, which has now created more jobs, which has now secured a larger chunk of a market. And again, a Cumbrian business. So thanks for pointing out those 2. The NPIF as well, I liked the fact that picks up where they've left off. And I don't know whether that Lego business did get a smaller loan to begin with, but you know, the fact that they literally has bridged that gap where the first loan would have got the business to go in, and the second one can then take that further. It's really nice that once that relationship is built, that it will grow with your business, which will also grow. How best is it for people to get in touch? Is it to do the self-assessment? Is that the starting point? Is that the best place?
I mean, what I'd suggest is, because the Startup Loans website, it's so user-friendly, so easy to use and find what you want. At the end of the day, the first stage of this is always about checking kind of basic eligibility. You know, things like you've got to be over 18 years old, you've got to have the right to work and live in the UK and that kind of thing. So, you know, there's that kind of tick box. You can register an account, you know, there's no obligation. So the easiest thing is to do that, and then you're in the system. And you will be assigned somebody to deal with your inquiry. You know, that there are a number of delivery partners, but the route in is always best to go through the website, because it's so straightforward to do. And with the NPIF, actually, I don't think the web address was anywhere on the slides, but again, you know, it's a really user-friendly website. You go on there, the information is there. You know, you can contact the fund managers. It's npif.co.uk.
I'll put that on afterwards as well.
It's again, it's sort of fairly self-explanatory. You can navigate it quite well, and you can make an inquiry you know, through the website.
Perfect. Brilliant. I'll make sure that I put that. I know it sounds easy to remember until you forgot it. So npif.co.uk. I'll put on after this. Well, thank you, Delith, for taking the time to go through this morning. As ever, check out some of our other webinars. There's lots of useful stuff appearing on our YouTube channel like this, in all facets of pre and post startup business life, from questions that we get asked here at Cumbria BIPC. And if you do need any more help through this, please do get in touch with us at the BIPC, and we will gladly be able to help and put you in touch with the right people. Thank you again, Delith.
Thanks, Ben.